Geeks are ridiculed for their fondness of blue hedgehogs, Italian plumbers, and night elves. There is a place where those that are persecuted can find solace and lulls, where like-minded geeks can join forces and together grow stronger, as together they can wield unimaginary power, invade enemy lines, and loot bosses. Together, they are Epic Geeks.
Is this where we take over?
We have got, as the choppers are unleashed, EA closes Mythic. We are getting Red Dead 2, and we look forward to Wildstar and Murdered Souls Suspect. So, as I said, my name is Draycass, and today we have a slightly different setup, as you might have noticed. We have the lovely Thomas McElroy with us, as ever.
Oh, sorry, that's my bit. Whoops.
So that's fine. And we also have Sparky.
Hello!
Sparky's joining us because James has got loads and loads of work on. He's got his new job that he started and sort of gone a little bit manic. So
Crazy.
welcome, Sparky.
Swapping out one crazy for another.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So Tom,
Yes,
how are you? You had a bit of a hectic day today. You
I'm-
managed to get here just in time.
you're literally skimming in, loading everything up. It's going well. It's been a bit of a manic week. Not so much on the gaming front, but I'll get into that in a second. But no, otherwise everything's going well so far.
Got the gremlins today, though, Tom. You're a little bit like
Yeah.
an isolated man.
Something could go wrong at any minute. You know, my webcam's failing, Skype's being funny, so this is not boding well for the beginning of the show. We're
know.
2 minutes in.
The stream terminated just as we started as well. It's all going horribly wrong today, but never mind. And Mr. Sparky, I call you Mr.
Yes.
Sparky, the man with the amazing deep voice.
Oh, thank you.
How
You're
are you
too
doing?
kind. How am I? I'm very well, thank you. I'm tired. I've been awake for... I probably should have told you this before I agreed to come onto the show. I've been awake for like 26 hours now, I swear. I don't know why. I pulled an all-nighter doing League of Legends. I played Heimerdinger for like 14 hours straight in normal games and owned people up.
What?
Thomas, you're pulling a strange face. Do you not know of the legendary Heimerdinger?
I don't know what you're talking about. If Patrick introduced me to League of Legends and I got about 5 levels in, I know there's a Kale, and that's about it.
Heimerdinger is a little brain yordle that runs around and he puts turrets down like an engineer from TF2 or something and just blows people up, and it's hilarious. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. So yes, raise your dongers.
Have you actually slept today then?
No. I'm trying to make it to the end of tonight so I can go to bed and wake up refreshed for work tomorrow.
I might have to do my mummy bit and say that sleeping is very, very important, and games should sometimes come second.
Sometimes.
Not before you're about to come into a podcast about gaming, though. You have everything we need, Sparky. Absolutely everything we need. 26 hours of game should give you plenty of material.
Yes.
Very true. So, Sparky, I also understand you've done a little Let's Play for us of Dark Souls 2.
Oh yeah. Of course, I didn't mention that.
You forgot about that.
Solution
It seems like so long ago.
How's that been for you?
That was so fun. Oh my god, I need to tell you the story. I didn't manage to fit it into the start of the first video, the part 1, but as I was getting used to the game, I just logged in to get past the cinematic to get onto the first level to start recording, and I tabbed out to check my recording settings on my software and just make sure, I got the best quality without dropping frames and yada, yada, yada. And anyway, as I was sitting there, I was about 8-9 minutes through fiddling around with settings, and I start hearing a scratching through my headset. I've still got my headset on, and I can hear the sound from the background in the game. What it was before was just sort of grass swaying in the wind, and you're in a cavern, so there's a bit of wind and sort of ominous sounds in the background. But I heard a scratching. A very nearby scratching, followed by a growl. I was like, what the hell? I'm scared already. And that's why I come into that video saying I'm scared already. I've just done the settings, because there were 2 zombie dogs that were circling my character as I was AFK, tabbed out, and I tabbed back in, and I lost it, basically. And the recording goes skew-with because of that.
Well, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. We'll be putting up on YouTube a little bit later, but let's just say there was a very interesting moment with a woman with a ladle.
The ladle woman. She should be a boss, okay? I was in the cinematic, and there was these witches, and they were annoying me, and I decided if I could attack them, and you can, but if you attack them, you get attacked by their granddaughter or something with a ladle.
It was quite funny. It's well worth a watch. I've got an interesting week, actually. I'm still finishing off Diablo 3. I'm very nearly at the end of Reaper of Souls, which is quite exciting. I'm a bit addicted to that at the moment. I've also been on, you might have known over the last couple of episodes, I've been plugging a little podcast. I say little podcast, same size as ours, it's a podcast, called the Board Games and Beer Podcast. Great topics, board games and beer. What more can you want? Well,
can't go wrong.
I know. They were very, very generous and offered me, asked me to come on their show to give them an interview, which I was very humbled by, and I went along and had a great time with Val and Morgan. So if you want to go along and have a listen to me having a chat with those guys about board games and beer. And apparently I'm actually quite good at beer. I know a lot more than I thought I did.
Quite good at beer.
Yeah, not so good at board games. I knew that anyway. But beer, yeah, I do all right on.
Nice.
So I have a little hidden talent there that I didn't even know I had. So that's kind of been my week. Obviously spending too much time drinking alcohol. But other than that, no, Diablo 3 mainly. That's kind
what is Reaper of Souls in terms of a story, if I can just quickly ask, because so many people are playing, in fact no one is playing Diablo 3. If you go on Twitch, it's obviously Reaper of Souls more than anything else. What is the story, very quickly, behind that?
Well, obviously we've defeated Diablo. He's in the Dark Stone, and Tyrael was going to go and hide it away so that no one else could find it, and then is it Malthius? Is that how you say it? Death comes along and takes the stone and starts killing everybody, basically. So we need to go and get the soul stone back and kill him. That's more or less it.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, kind of.
Sounds good.
I haven't got to the end, so I don't know the exact story, but that's basically what I'm doing at the moment.
What are you playing as, class-wise?
I'm trying to save the world. I'm playing as the wizard, which is very, very cool. Bit squishy sometimes, but other than that, no, very interesting. It's a lot of fun. And for those of you that played Diablo 3 and haven't played Reaper of Souls, maybe they stopped playing for whatever reason because they didn't like the auction house and because there were a lot of changes from the original game, it is worth getting Reaper of Souls and going back in and playing it, because it is back like the old Diablo. It's very, very fun. Loads of loot, loads of legendaries. You can go into the adventure mode once you finish I haven't got there yet because I haven't finished the story. But once you finish the campaign, you can start doing adventure modes and stuff like that, and it is quite awesome. So we're going to go into the actual podcast. I suppose you should get there eventually.
That's not it.
So we're going to go into gaming news.
It's time for gaming news with Epic Geeks.
Got in the gaming news this week, we have got EA closes Mythic Entertainment. which was a bit of a surprise to me. I don't really know why they've done it or what it's all about, but just to give you a bit of a background, Mythic Entertainment is located in Fairfax in Virginia, which concentrated on the mobile development side of the studios of EA. They've been around since 1995, and EA purchased them in 2006. An EA spokesman says that we're working on all the impacted employees to provide assistance to finding new opportunities, either within EA or other companies via the upcoming job fair. Now, EA, well, the part of Mythic Entertainment that was run by EA was a studio that was responsible for Ultima Online, working on the Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, before the project was stopped in December. And last year, Mythic released, everyone will know, we talked about this in a couple of episodes ago, Dungeon Keeper was the last thing that they released. Now, that reboot, as we discussed, was quite poorly received, actually. IGN called it a waste of a good franchise and said that the implementation of microtransactions severely hindered the mobile game, which is something that we said as well. If you remember, Tom, James was I think the only person that was defending Dungeon Keeper and their microtransactions.
Yes.
So, do you guys think that the way that Dungeon Keeper was implemented and maybe the problems they've had with their mobile games has impacted the reason for them closing the studio, or is it just a business decision to focus on mobile gaming in a different way?
I'll let Sparky go first.
Okay. I think, yeah, definitely the way Dungeon Keeper was set out, there was another similar game. I forget what it's called, but you were digging some sort of rocks or something, and it took a certain amount of time to knock down each block, each pixel, and you could pay extra, but it was a ludicrous amount. I can't remember what game it was called, but anyway, the internet just went into an absolute frenzy. It was all over Reddit, all over Twitter, and all the gaming Facebook accounts saying how ludicrous these, they call it a microtransaction, but it's a macro transaction. It's ridiculous. It's like £70 to knock down this wall that will, usually take 5 hours that you could just sleep through, and people are actually paying ludicrous amounts of money, and kids on their parents' phones are completing transactions with maybe the parents not really knowing that's going on. Yeah, exactly. There's been about 10 cases of £70 disappearing from their bank account, and yeah, I think this has just whipped up a frenzy storm of bad press across the internet, and I, for one, completely understand EA closing down a company that's trying to take mobile gaming down that route. I, for one, don't really stand it. I don't like it at all. I think it should, mobile gaming or tablet gaming should be sort of anywhere between the prices of like £5 to £20 for a really good game, say like Hearthstone, and then that's it. You don't pay anything else. You just experience the game, because that's what mobile gaming should be. It should be light, easy to use, and relatively, cost effective.
What are your thoughts on that, Tom? Do you think that by EA making this decision to close down Mythic Entertainment, that maybe the microtransactions are going to be going out the window for EA?
I don't think EA will be getting rid of microtransactions. I think the psychology behind microtransactions is too clever. The idea that you can, think about it in terms of this sort of psychology. If a game is a pie, why should I get you to pay $25 or quid to £25, I should say, to eat the pie, when instead I can let you have a free slice, and then for every other slice you want, you can pay me £5. You're gonna want more pie. You're gonna want more. And so at the end of the day, the psychology behind that sort of consumption of gaming is much more clever. I can't think English today. I only studied a degree in it, but it's just a lot smarter in terms of making money. And you have to remember, at the end of the day, these are businesses. They're in it to make money. Passion for gaming is a wonderful thing, but unfortunately, passionate gamers who make games are often rare, to be honest. It's interesting, just looking very quickly in terms of Mythic's history. Mythic, some of the games they released, I'll just read out a few of the titles. You tell me if any ring a bell. Dragon's Gate back in 1990, Tempest 1991, Castles 2 Online was in 1996. They released Aliens Online in 1998, Godzilla Online in 1998. They did do Dark Age of Camelot in 2001, and of course Warhammer Online, and then Dungeon Keeper. And it's interesting to note that they've been listed on the Deloitte Technology 500 list of fastest growing by revenue technology companies in North America since 2002. And in 2004, they ranked 106th with a 2,226% increase in revenue over the past 5 years. And to give you an idea, that was about 4 years, if I'm right. Sorry, 3 years after they released Dark Age of Camelot. So in terms of, you know, transactions and things like that, they were making huge amounts of money. Clearly, with Warhammer Online and Dungeon Keeper, they're not making as much money. So they're probably, I think this is more brand scrap than anything else.
Yeah.
I think Sparky got it right on their head there. There's too much negative press associated. So I imagine the employees would just be moved.
Oh, Tom's gone.
Oh no.
Mid-flow. Tom went, and he was in the middle of a brilliant point as well. Skype doesn't like him at all this week. Last time we did our live stream, Tom didn't drop out once.
I'm here.
He's back.
Oh.
I lost it for a second. When did I get to?
We've lost
The Dark Knight Returns.
Where did I go? Here we go.
I don't know, but you were making an amazing point about...
They were about to move the employees, you said.
Yes.
About to move the employees, sorry. Am I back on screen?
Yes.
Am I okay?
Yes.
That's cool. I was saying that they're probably going to move employees. The brand will be relaunched to something else, but Mythic Entertainment, as it were, is done. There's too much negative press around it, far too much, especially with Warhammer Online. That was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And to be honest, they probably should have thought about scrapping it there. But to be honest, this isn't an end of a company. It will just be a rebrand so that people don't think, oh God, it's Mythic doing something again.
No.
What about you, Kim? What do you think?
No, I think you're totally right, because obviously they're not scrapping the games, and they've still got other companies that are focusing on mobile gaming. So you're right, they're just literally just getting rid of this one studio, going to relocate everybody, and maybe
make another
just do the same thing with another game and hope it goes right, like EA do. Just cross your fingers and hope that it'll work this time. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a shame, really, because Mythic have got a nice little logo. I wonder what they're doing with the logo. It's a waste of a good logo, that is. So next on our list, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2? Looks very likely, it seems. There's been lots of speculation, obviously, since the success of Red Dead Redemption, whether there will be a sequel. And according to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, it's an amazing name, he has said that it will be a permanent franchise. At the Cohen & Company Analyst Conference, which is via GameSpot, Zelnick explained that both Red Dead and BioShock were likely to get new entries in future, though he stressed the publisher's commitment to launching a new series on a yearly basis. He said, I pretty much know the ones I can assure you are permanent. He said it's obvious that GTA is a permanent franchise as long as we keep delivering this incredible quality. It seems quite obvious that Red Dead is a permanent franchise, again with the same caveat of Borderlands, for example, and NBA and others. So are we excited about the idea of getting a second Red Dead Redemption, Sparky? Did you like the first one?
I'm going to be thrown under the theoretical gamer bus of wrath here, because I have not played Red Dead Redemption 1. And I don't know, the whole era flew past me. I don't know if I was out of the country or dead or in a coma periodically, but I kind of heard a little bit about it, and I thought at the time, I didn't do much research, I didn't read up about it, but I just thought, oh, GTA in a desert, which is probably bad of me, but that's what I thought. That's what I thought, and so I didn't purchase it, and I probably missed out because apparently it had some of the most hilarious bugs of all time.
Do you know what? I never thought of it as being a GTA in the desert. That's an amazing analogy. And actually it is. Thinking about it, that is exactly what it is. So you never got to ride around in the dust as a cowboy?
No.
Playing poker?
No.
horses and stuff like that. That's a shame. You've missed out on something there.
I can imagine the great thing about GTA in the desert is you wouldn't have bloody Romeo calling you up every 5 minutes asking if you want to go bowling.
No mobile phones in those days. No.
Oh, God.
You might get like a tin can or something left
Don't put
outside your
mobile
bedroom
phones in
door.
games. Producers, please. It's horrible.
Sparky's requests.
PSA.
Start that.
An open letter to all game producers. No more mobiles. Sincerely, Sparky.
Not a fan of
Nice.
Watch Dogs then.
No. Well, you know, you could use a laptop.
An iPad.
An iPad, maybe, yeah.
Still get hold of you on an iPad though, can't they? If you've got Wi-Fi.
Mm.
What about you, Tom? Did you play Red Dead?
I'm probably going to be a bit more controversial than Sparky because I did play Red Dead Redemption and
Didn't like
listen,
it.
I got thoroughly bored. Because I'm saying that I've been working my way through GTA 5 and the same things happen. I've got bored of it in a sense towards the. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I think there is such an immersive world. There's a lot of travelling. And I'm like the sort of person on GTA who never drives anywhere. I just get a cab and auto skip. And I think in Red Dead Redemption there was a lot of how can I put it, travel exposition. You'd be travelling and there'd be a conversation happening. It'd be like, follow this guy until you get to the end of the road, or race this guy. And saying, you think really this is a playable cutscene where we're chatting away. And I think I just got a bit bored of all the playable cutscenes, and then a 3-minute fight which I'd destroy everyone because of that slow-mo feature. But not to say it wasn't a great game. It was thoroughly entertaining, but I think I need to take a deep breath before I approach it again.
Have you got the same problem that I've got? In that it's actually a similar problem to what I've got in Diablo 3 at the moment, where I have to explore every area of the map, click everything that's clickable, and kind of in the same with Red Dead and Skyrim and all of those kind of open world games, I have to do every quest. It doesn't matter. Little Billy boy comes up and goes, "I've lost my mummy." I'll have to go and help him find his mum. I just can't help it. I can't kind of stick with the main storyline and just get on with the game. So
I lost Clucky, my favourite chicken. Can you venture into the woods and find him?
Exactly. Well, I have
Priorities,
to find
that's-
the chicken. I can't prioritise. I have to complete every quest. So I end up literally spending about 5 years playing one game just because I have to do like everything. And I think that can be a problem sometimes actually with some of these games. It's just they're too big. They just get too big. It takes like 2 hours to ride to your nearest town. You have to if you haven't been there before, and you're sitting there going, "Well, this is a bit dull." Just sitting along on a road travelling. It's quite nice getting that kind of immersive experience, but as a game, it can be a little bit dull. I agree. Is that the reason that you get bored? Is it literally because there's too much to do, or is it just that style of game that you're not so interested in?
I think after a while, you I don't know. I just lose a sense for all the backgrounds, like playing GTA 5. Because I think Sparky, you made a good point. It is really Red Dead is just GTA in the desert, or the Western GTA, I should say. But it's really just traveling and hearing story. You sit there going, right, my job is just to basically my job here is just to hold the trigger and direct the car. It's like you're the chauffeur to a story. You're not the driver, you're not the character, you're a chauffeur driving these two people around and you're overhearing their conversation. And that's not gaming, that's a chore. That's a chore. Because I think if I want to play the game, I want to be able to go, oh actually no, look what's happening over here. I want stuff to be happening instantly so that I can play the game, not feel that I've got to drive my friends somewhere so that we can actually do something. I don't want to be like the after school mum on everything.
What are you talking about? It's common knowledge that all gamers love escort missions. It's the favourite.
It's the favourite WoW mission every time. I get to take you to the end. Yes.
And why do they walk so slowly?
Yeah, why walk?
Blizzard, please. If you have an escort quest, can they at least walk at a reasonable pace?
It's a tiny bit faster than your walking pace and a tiny bit slower than your running pace.
Yes, that would
Just
be
so you
perfect.
have to click and then unclick and click and unclick.
I just want to like go behind them and just shove them in the back. Move. Anyway.
But while we're just on this topic, Sparky, if you played GTA 5, you have.
Yes.
Have you finished the game?
No.
Okay, that's probably defeats my point then. I was going to say, what is there anything that's kept, like, contrary to what me and Kim have said, that, in your opinion, keeps the game entertaining?
For me, games that are relatively sandbox, relatively open world, where, like GTA, I will ignore all missions as soon as I've unlocked all areas of the map. I'll just grab the fastest car I can and go on a massive rampage and see how long I can survive before I crash in a burning wreck off a cliff.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience of the game. So I never...
Saints Row.
Yeah, exactly. I never get to the end. I just cause chaos and laugh. And then, after an hour or two, you get a bit bored and then turn it off and go do something else. At least for me.
It's not looking good for Red Dead 2, is it?
No.
Just pure rampage, that's all we need.
I'm sure that the majority of people I've heard actually quite like the game. I liked it. I did like it. It may have taken me like forever to finish it, but it was interesting. I mainly liked playing poker. Poker's actually a game of mine. I play it in real life, and I did spend too many hours sitting there playing poker. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? Why am I in a computer game playing poker when I can just go and play poker?
I could do this exact same thing in real life. Make real money.
When I get a little bit scared and think, okay, my gaming world's actually overtaking my real life world.
Yeah.
But no, I'd be interested in Red Dead 2. I don't know where to go with it to make it interesting and a sequel.
I think it's night time I jumped on that train. Because it's not like I dislike story games. I loved Last of Us. Games that are purely there for the story. It's difficult getting the balance in games like Red Dead and GTA between the storyline and the open world. I think the more open world you make a game, and the less restrictive, the less likely your players are to adhere to the missions you've set. So, I don't know, you either have to make an incredibly good story with characters you really care about in a truly open world platform to make a game like Red Dead successful. If they can pull that off in number 2, then I'm all on board. But that's a tall feat.
Nice. Got anything else you'd like to add, Tom, before we move on?
No, I think that wraps it up nicely.
Okay, well, the next bits then. This is your realm, Tom. You stuck these stories in, so I'll let you...
Oh, are we to my stories already?
Yes,
oh, wow.
I know, isn't it?
That came slightly quick. I was like, oh, God, already. Right, okay, well, the first one comes from the wonderful developers of Wildstar, who have claimed, basically, that numerous you can't say that word quickly, MMORPGs have come along, and they've attempted, obviously, to try and either recreate or try and trump WoW in some sense, but they haven't managed to do it as of yet. And in particular, you can't get the sticking power that WoW's obviously had. WoW's is a 10-year-old game, and even though it's dropped some subscribers, which obviously people read into perhaps too much, it's still got a massive, massive, massive fan base 10 years on that, you'd be pleased to have a percentage, a single figure percentage of. But despite this, Jeremy Gaffney, who is the executive producer of Wildstar and the developer Carbine Studios, he thinks that we'll eventually see an MMO that is more successful than WoW. And he said there will be something bigger than World of Warcraft in our lifetimes, he told Develop. He didn't suggest that Wildstar apparently was going to do this, but he did note that at least player-wise, such games may already exist. Now, I don't know...
Minecraft?
He does say, depending on how you count all the various markets, there are games that are arguably bigger now globally in terms of players. In terms of revenues, it's tricky to catch up with because you have to be that big and you have to be subscription. You don't usually average $15 a month off your free-to-play game per user. So, in a sense, looking back, we can obviously have the benefit of hindsight looking back on Age of Conan, obviously Warhammer Online, you've got Star Wars The Old Republic, and they've all come in and, you know, done what they've done.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls Online. We'll let you keep that one, Kim. That was an amazing game. It's going to bounce back.
It's a very expensive game for me for a month's worth of play.
But basically, I just wanted to pose the question: do you think that Jeremy is right in this sense? Is there perhaps currently? I mean, I don't think it's a question of eventually will there be a game better than WoW, because I think most people agree with that, and some people agree, yeah, but Blizzard's going to make it. But still, to pose the question, do you think there's something out there now which can be seen as superior to WoW in terms of gaming and then in terms of revenue?
I personally don't think there's anything out there now. You could argue that if you took certain aspects of different games, then there might be. But I personally think that the only MMO at the moment that has got everything that people are looking for is WoW. And I think that probably people are looking for something else, which is why they've lost some subscribers and some people are going off and playing other games. But I don't think anyone's found it yet, which is why WoW's still got the bigger player base and why everyone else is kind of scrabbling around with sort of 1 million, 2 million, and they're still on 8 million or whatever they're on. People are ready for a different MMO. As much as we love WoW and we love playing it and probably still continue to play it, we are ready, I think, for something different. But no one's quite been able to do it yet. And interesting, we're going to talk about Wildstar a little bit later on when we come up to up-and-coming releases. So we'll go into that a little bit more. But Wildstar is one of those games that is actually looking at what people like. They're not just going and trying something new and think, right, we're going to be really clever and make this really amazing looking game and that looks really realistic and is going to have. They're not. They've gone, no. Do you know what? It works for WoW. We're going to do just that. And so we'll go into more detail about the features and everything in Wildstar. But I think that there's nothing out there yet that is ready, but that I think that there is a possibility that there will be a game that is bigger than WoW. There has to be, because more people play games now. At the end of the day, when WoW first came out, there weren't as many people playing games. It wasn't so accessible. Now you've got the consoles, you've got all the PC gamers. The amount of PC gamers we've got now has gone through the roof. You think about the fact that 40 million people play Minecraft. You've got a potential audience of 40 million people who could play an MMO if it was that good. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god,
so
yeah.
There's a potential there. There's a potential market that is an awful lot bigger than what WoW had when they had their 12 million as a maximum. So my answer to your question is yes, but not yet. Sparky, what do you think?
Sparky, go for it.
Okay. Like Wonderful said in the chat room, he says, but Wildstar hasn't got the lore that WoW has. And that kind of ties into the point that I want to make is, I think because WoW has been in this industry so long, and Blizzard have been in this industry so long, and they've had the time to set out what works, what doesn't. They ditch some stuff, they bring new stuff in, okay, yeah, and they regurgitate and they finalize and polish, and they've got a really good formula that clearly works. Yeah, it's dropping off. That's because, in my opinion, there's been a lack of content recently. So, of course, it's going to drop off. People have completed stuff. They don't want to pay the monthly subscription. They'll go away, but I'm sure they'll rebound back later. For a new game like Wildstar to come in and just immediately pick up a huge gathering, I feel like there has to be something before that. There has to be an interest, and there's only so much a trailer or a few gameplay videos can do in that sense. With WoW, you've got story, you've got characters. I mean, I'm a WoW fanboy because way back when I was playing, Warcraft, Reign of Chaos and stuff, I fell in love with the characters back then. So that's one of the only reasons I'm still there and still paying that subscription, is because I want to see how those characters develop. I want to see what happens with Garrosh when he dives through the Dark Portal. And yeah, I struggled to see. It looks like an amazing game, but I struggled to see Wildstar on a subscription basis reaching those numbers until it's been around for a long time and people have become invested.
Okay, so what if we had another game franchise then that had a similar history and story background to WoW that we've known for a long time? And I'm going to name a franchise that we talk about quite a lot on this show. Tom knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I do.
What if 343 Industries came out tomorrow and said, we're going to create a Halo MMO? I love that noise.
Yes, that was the noise of nerdygasm. Yeah, that. I'd be 50-50. I'd be the spinning coin waiting to drop, because I love Master Chief and Cortana. That relationship is one of the best in all of gaming history, in my opinion. There's no storyline that can really compare to the relationship between them. I see myself as a heartless bastard, and I had a little tear after the last Halo game. So yeah, on one side of the coin, I really hope that bringing that somehow to an MMO market, I don't know how they'd incorporate that, given that it's only really 2 main characters. I don't know if you'd consider, the curator and stuff massive characters. It's mostly just the Chief and Cortana. So I hope that they wouldn't butcher it on one hand, but on the other hand, I'd be so excited to see that come back and done well again. That's my thoughts.
What do you reckon, Tom?
Sorry, I was laughing at the. I saw an online comment once, ages and ages ago, that described Master Chief and Cortana's relationship as the most perfect gaming recreation of marriage, because you have basically a guy and a girl, and the girl has a mental breakdown, and first she's the problem, then he's the problem, and then she just leaves him. And that's
Halo.
That's Halo for you. A working marriage in a war-torn universe. But I think I just want to sort of, in response to all of this, Jeremy obviously says that Wildstar won't be this game, and I just want to touch on a few things that some people might not know about Wildstar. A lot of people do feel that the game that will replace WoW will be made by Blizzard, and it's interesting to remember that Wildstar development started back in 2005 after 17 former members of Blizzard. They founded Carbine Studios, and at the time the quote is, they had a desire to do anything but WoW.
They've basically done a mini WoW.
So they've kind of remade. They've done an MMO. But the thing is, they've thought very carefully. To sort of respond to the question, there are things in Wildstar that do, in my opinion, trump WoW, and this is why I'm incredibly excited by this. The first being the way the subscription works. There are 2 ways to play the game, and you could, in terms of purchasing, you have the standard 30-day subscription, or you can buy an item for 30 days playtime, which can then be traded for in-game currency. So in a sense, you can, by playing the game, earn enough in-game currency and then buy playtime off other people if it's worth it. I don't know how the economics works for that. It takes a lot of thinking. But just to go over some of the others, they have a much vaster system of PvP. PvP is pretty much everywhere, but there are systems like Battlegrounds, all of that. They have player housing. They've obviously been thinking about that one.
And you can put furniture in it.
Yes, exactly. You can. It's like, what was that? Is it Spore? Mm-hmm. In a sense, in that terms of level of sort of diversity and building up and things like that. It's really interesting.
And the guild one as well. What's
the Fortress
War Plot or something, which is more or less a garrison. I'm sure it's War Plot or something similar.
Is it War Plot?
And just to quickly go over the last few features, there's already going to be six classes, 8 races, and effectively, this is, people could argue this is a contingent of Blizzard's attempt to try and make something superior to what they were seeing. And obviously, 2005, if we go back to what WoW was back then, that was just after Burning Crusade. I think, or just before, unless I've got my math or my time horrendously wrong. But needless to say, it was WoW was a completely different game back in 2005, and yet they've had enough time to really sort of branch out and go a different path altogether. And I genuinely think the what defines the game that beats WoW is not its ability to trump WoW on the things it has, but rather to blow everyone away with the things that WoW has failed to do. And obviously, WoW is becoming so diverse now that it's hard to pinpoint what it doesn't yet do. But there are still a lot of things that WoW hasn't made progress on. They're only now just touching on the character graphics, character appearances. They're only now just touching on player. It's 10 years old. They've only touched on the graphics. They're only now dealing with player housing. When is it going? And player housing is restrictive in a sense. What if someone said, "Well, you can have player housing, but you can put it anywhere this time"? Already it's providing options that Blizzard has still yet not quite touched on. And I think personally, with a little bit of time with patches and so on and so forth, Wildstar, I think it's going to really take a chunk out of it. And once you take a chunk out of WoW, it's very easy for people to come in and start taking chunks and chunks out.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, we've kind of moved on to the last segment straight away because we've gone really quite deep into this game. So we might as well just have this conversation now. So we'll play the trailer in a bit as well for everyone to look at if they haven't seen it. I mean, it's coming out on the 3rd of June. I think early access starts tomorrow. It's coming out on the PC, as we know. We'll just have a look at the pricing because you touched on that a little bit. I think they've got it spot on, like you said. I think they've got it dead right. Probably the first MMO that's been released in the last couple of years that has got it spot on, in my opinion. It's being sold digitally and in boxes for £35, which is €45 or $60, which includes 30 days of game time. And the thing that I really like that they've put in is that you get 3 one-week guest passes for friends, which, we've been speaking about Elder Scrolls. I think they've really failed on the social aspect of that game. That's where, it just didn't work at all. It was more or less a single-player game with the kind of social aspect bodged in with it. But Wildstar is going straight on and then, look, we want you to play with games. The whole idea of the war plot is that you will build it with your friends and that you'll grow stronger together. And they're saying, look, if you buy this game, 3 of your friends can come along and try it for a week, see if they like it, and then hopefully they'll buy it and you can go off and play together. And then, like you said, the subscription is, £9, €13, $15, which is the WoW subscription, isn't it? I just
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know what it is monthly nowadays. But obviously you get the better deals if you buy in 3, 6 or 12-month blocks, the same as Blizzard. I think that they've got the money spot on, the price of the game, the price of subscriptions. They're trying to get players to play together. How to encourage friends to come in and play with you as well is very, very clever idea. And like you said, Tom, the fact that they've already incorporated this player housing, the customization of your own house to buy things in and stuff like that, is just, that's a very geeky thing. People love that, don't they? And the war plot idea, the fact that you can, with your friends, create a garrison in this, which is all intents and purposes what it is, which can make you stronger, and you can go out and raid other people's garrisons and things like that. The PvP, as you said, is been very highly recommended from what I've heard of people playing the beta so far. I agree that on the lore aspect it might not be as strong, but certainly they've done their research. As you said, these guys used to work at Blizzard. They know what people like, they know what people are wanting, and that's what they've put in this MMO. And if they do get it right and people talk about it enough, they could take a big chunk out of WoW. They could.
I think they will, especially on the release. I think there's going to be a lot of hype. Obviously Wildstars is going to be showing off their best qualities. They're going to be bringing out the big guns when it comes to the release, and I reckon we're going to see quite a dip in WoW subs and quite a rise in Wildstar subs. And then it's those first couple of weeks and, up to a month that's going to be absolutely crucial for that game. If they manage to nail it and they provide all the benefits and key features that they've been promising, I reckon they'll retain those subs.
Then it's all going to come down to Warlords, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Whether Blizzard gets them back again. Which hopefully they will. Obviously we'll be there. I've already pre-ordered it, so I'll be there.
Wildstar Garrisons has giant freaking cannons on the top.
No, they're huge.
Blizz, you don't have that.
They have people that dance with you when you dance. That's
We've got the conga dance, the conga line.
People pick flowers. You've got cannons. Who's going to win?
What's quite interesting about this conversation that we're having, though, is that every other episode before that we've had, and we've talked about MMOs have been coming out, we've always been pretty negative about it. No matter how positive I was trying to be for Elder Scrolls, and I did try really hard for a long time. It didn't.
Even as you handed over your money.
Yeah, exactly. I was just trying to justify the fact I spent so much money on it. But the fact again, this is reasonably priced. Even the collector's edition or deluxe edition is $49.99, which is £25 cheaper than what Elder Scrolls Online Deluxe Edition was. So this is the first time that all three of us, or at least everybody that I've spoken to, has been very positive about this game. I haven't heard a lot of negativity about it, which is unusual for a new MMO. Which again, I think means that they're going to do quite well. Have either of you pre-ordered it? I did.
I have not yet. I definitely will be now, though.
Well, I pre-ordered it, so you can come and play it with me for free for a week.
Oh, yummy! Thank you.
There you go. That's that sorted out.
Sorted.
One more.
Done.
I promised one to Jace as well, so that's the three of us. We can go and have a go and see what we like about it, and we can talk about it on the next episode. So what I'll do now, because there's no point in talking about it again at the end, I might as well play the trailer now. Does anybody else want to say anything about it before I play the trailer, or shall I just go into it and then maybe catch up with it afterwards?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Legend tells of the mysterious planet Nexus, once inhabited by the hyper-advanced Elden, who disappeared from the galaxy long ago. Where is this lost world? What mysteries and wonders would be found there? And does it conceal ancient technologies and forbidden magic of awesome, unimaginable power? Guess what? You're gonna find out, Cupcake. Nexus has just been discovered, and things are about to get real. Welcome to Wildstar. When someone finds the most legendary planet in the universe, you can be damn sure that everyone's saddling up their starship and blazing a trail to get there. On one side, you've got the Exiles, a motley crew of refugees, outlaws, and mercenaries. On the other, the Dominion, a powerful interstellar empire that prides itself on kicking ass. Throw in a bunch of the weirdest, wildest, and most ruthless races this side of the event horizon, and you've got an explosive cocktail just looking for someone to party with. You ready for a fight? Oh, yeah. Face off against dangerous alien organisms, killer robots, and savage natives, using skill, movement, and some old-fashioned backbone to smash your enemies to smithereens. Whether your arsenal is big guns and bullets or supercharged magical spells, you'll be cracking skulls and making corpses in no time. Well, stakes not high enough for you? Then you and some of your most bloodthirsty friends should double down and buy a war plot. Then outfit it with enough firepower to blow a hole in the space-time continuum. When your death fortress is complete, go to war against your enemies and earn rewards so epic your head will explode like a supernova. Boom! Taming a hostile alien world ain't gonna be easy, so choose a path and start taking care of business. As a soldier, scientist, settler, or explorer, you'll be facing Nexus head-on with custom content and rewards that make it your kind of adventure. So whether it's starting a war, building a town, climbing a mountain, or studying bug-eyed, brain-eating extraterrestrial critters, you're whipping this planet into shape with your own personal style. You didn't come halfway across the galaxy for a weekend visit. No. So grab a plot, build a house, and kick back on your little piece of the galactic dream. Customize your house with a mind-numbing array of choices, transforming it into a unique reflection of your own enigmatic, schizophrenic, or sociopathic tastes. Snazzy! And just when you think it's all over and maybe it's time to take a breather, guess again. Dive headfirst into an episodic world story to reveal the ultimate secrets of Nexus, doing your best to avoid getting demolished, dissected, or vaporized. Along the way, you'll see some of the most epic content since the Big Bang itself, squaring off against the most hair-raising enemies that Nexus has to offer. Add to that an unbelievable lineup of dungeons, raids, PvP battlegrounds, and adventures, and you've got a rich, deep, unforgettable experience that's guaranteed to blow your mind. Wildstar. Adventure is about to get an ass-kicking.
Wow. It looks so much fun! It does look fun, I have to say. When you watch the trailer, I get a little bit of a goosebump. And it does look very similar to WoW, but different enough not to be WoW. If that makes sense.
Like I said before the show, and I'll say it again, I think if WoW and Borderlands were to have a little MMORPG baby, it would be Wildstars. It's so similar between the two. The graphics of Borderlands and the play of WoW.
Nice.
And that's exciting.
Yes. So we'll move on now from Wildstar. We can come back and talk about it when we've had a bit of a play, and then we can decide whether we do think it's any good or not. Whether it's lived up to the hype, which I hope it does. It does look kind of cool. Right, we're going to go on to a new segment now. You haven't got anything else, have you, Tom? That was it.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to a new segment. We haven't got a drop for it yet, although I am hoping that Sparky will make one for us. So maybe we can do one kind of ad hoc. I'm going to have to tell you what I want you to say. Can you say kicking the mule? No, kick like a mule with Epic Geeks or something like that.
Okay. Are you gonna be laying something over it? Because I won't be able to hear it.
I haven't got anything. We just have to do it ad hoc. I'll count you in.
Kick like the mule with Epic Geeks.
Something like that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Kick like a mule. Kick like a mule. It'll make sense in a minute.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kick like the mule with Epic Geeks.
Very good.
Sorted.
So it does make sense. This is going to be our new segment about Kickstarter. Kick like a mule. Get it?
We're like a little Pandora's box of sound effects, Sparky. We just reach in and go, what have we got here?
Yeah, we did scrap the YouTube segment because it was just so hard trawling through people to try and find the good people that haven't got many viewers, because we just ended up looking at the people with loads of viewers because they come up first, and it was there's no easy way to search on YouTube, so we thought we'd do a Kickstarter one instead, because it's easy to have a look through, see what's coming up, and kind of give them our backing if we like it and discuss things. So I'm going to change over to the YouTube. We're not going to see each other. There's going to be no webcams, so we just have to wave goodbye for a minute.
Bye.
And we're going to go over to Kickstarter.com, and this is a Kickstarter called Draycass. I think it is Draycass. Go with that. An augmented reality trading card game. Now, I think this actually looks amazing. Hopefully you both had a chance to have a quick look at it. What I'll do is I'll play their little trailer that they've done. They have a little chat about it. It's amazingly dubbed, I have to say.
Yes.
It's made by Piolio Entertainment, something like that. They're from Paris in France. I'm presuming that they're French and they're speaking French, hence it's been dubbed into English. So
français?
Yeah, I will let them explain this game, and then we'll discuss our thoughts.
It's just like a magic world, and it's a bit like the world of dreams.
Draycass is a dream we've had going around in our heads for some time now. We wanted to invent some cool new creatures.
So what Drakkers is all about is a deck of cards for collectors with its reality augmented.
To start a play, you just present your card to the camera and the creatures start to appear.
You're in the game, playing the cards, and sitting there at the webcam. In fact, it's like going into a dream world.
It's never been seen before.
At the time when Benoit was first having the idea, the technology called augmented reality was a new thing.
What's really new was the technical challenge for us. That's the main point of the project.
The main real difficulty we faced throughout the game was to do our best to avoid just referring back to games we knew.
So then, why not go further and start using the possibility of adding onto an actual real image a filmed image?
And we came across some really interesting ways of doing things with the cards, things that just aren't possible with Notebook or a mouse.
The computer or the game can recognize the cards, and they're basically just like normal playing cards.
But they don't have those big symbols on them in black and white like they usually do.
The aim is to make a collectible deck of cards, so we needed beautiful cards. So we thought, in the end, it's really the computer itself that should be able to recognize cards that are just normal.
We didn't put backgrounds in, no special environments, so it's completely all about the creatures. The whole thing, the project itself, it's based on the creatures.
A Draco is basically like a sort of chimera, a mixture of gargoyle and chimera, a creature of the imagination.
It has to be an animal that can fly, and that's why almost all of them have wings.
Some of the creatures are really great in terms of design. They're so good you really feel real emotions because in fact you fight in an arena with your Draco and you have it take part in duels.
At the beginning, we thought about making them dragons, but we went for more creatures like this that are not like big monsters. The point is like companions in the story.
I was probably inspired by what I saw in the classics, stuff like manga or shonen, that feature quite often these sort of, initiation stories with actual people who progress. And there's exploration too, led by the combat that's more and more and more intense.
That means it's all accessible and interesting, not just for players who are real card game fans, but also for those who like video games that are just more traditional.
We wanted this product just to be not like any other game now being marketed, and to rely upon all our strong points and our main strengths like creativity, imagination, originality.
It was tough, and it was tough from the start. We never felt like we were sure not to fail. It was quite tough technologically. It was tough to make it real well balanced, so it's fun to interact with too and simple to grasp.
Thinking about it, it all seems a pretty big risk. Yet the more the time passed, the more we said, hey, that's interesting, great, we made something that's really unique. We've made a good game we can have fun with.
Oh yes, I do try myself playing the odd round, and I fight a few duels on a regular basis. But the thing is, there's guys out there that are really good, and most times I finish getting well and truly trounced.
The game works, everyone likes it, it's a bit addictive, and I know this is a really new technique, and I'm pretty sure that we're onto something new here.
Okay, so before we kind of look into the actual game itself and go through the Kickstarter, what are your sort of initial thoughts of the game? I mean, this is why I love Kickstarter, if I'm honest. I thought I'm going to have a look through, see what it's about, see what's looking interesting, and I came across this game and I thought, oh my god, they've actually come up with something original. They've taken two ideas that were already there and kind of merged them together. A trading card game where you have physical cards, which people love. Collectors love collecting cards. And then you can put them on your desk and these characters will appear on your computer. It's like Hearthstone on speed.
Basically.
On LSD more like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What do you think of this, Sparky? Is this sort of something that you would back?
Absolutely, because I think more recently, when, of course, my goodness, this is going to be one hell of a speech. Before the days of the internet, there was trading cards. There would be groups and committees, and you'd have it at universities, at colleges, at dorms, and even neighborhoods maybe of gamers that would go around to each other's houses, play trading card games, maybe even do it in the dang street, and just having fun and really exploring fantasy in that direction. And now that all the PC generations have come along and the whole world's become more interconnected, I think I can probably speak for all three of us when I say we've got loads of friends online from loads of different countries and areas and time zones that if we really wanted to play trading card games with, as I'm sure many people do, because I've seen many programs and websites out there that try to replicate it on the internet, but it's a bit clunky, a bit flimsy. Now with this, if this is successful, it sounds really hard to do, but if they manage to pull it off, and now you can play trading cards across countries, across borders, and ethnicities and languages, that would be incredible. That would bring the old retro trading card games into the 21st century, and that's amazing.
And this is something actually that I've brought up with the board games and beer guys. I said that it's the fact I don't play board games. It's not that I don't want to. It's just literally I haven't got anybody to play with. The people that I know sort of physically aren't that interested in games. All my gamer friends are, like you said, over in America, Australia, all across the UK. And unless we're in some kind of guild meet or something, we don't generally sort of see each other. But by having a game like this, you're right. I can still collect the trading cards and then play them no matter where my friends are. We've still got this way of playing with the physical cards, which is a brilliant idea. What are your thoughts on it, Tom, initially?
I agree totally with both of you. I think, I know people who have played, things like Magic the Gathering and whatnot. And like you say, the biggest problem is if you wanted to play something, you had to either, travel to a relatively local gaming club, or you had to wait until some sort of regional or national tournament came up and then just, attend. Basically, it almost became not only an expensive hobby, but it became something you had to constantly work to in order to play it. And I think this is the thing. Hearthstone obviously appealed to the WoW TCG market because the same as Magic the Gathering, you had to travel. Now you just log on and you go. That's it. There's no, like you say, you're just there in the game. You can play with anyone literally just by clicking a button. This, though, quite frankly, is incredible. It really is. There's a few things I'd love to see how they're going to work out, because they talk about how things like the cost of cards and some of that, some of that resource thinking is all handled by your computer, which is a really interesting concept when they say you get to focus on the combat. But it makes me wonder about how they're also pushing the nature of card games, because this is a very visual medium, and in a sense, it's not really like any other card. It's not like they're just getting Magic the Gathering and they're making them scannable cards, or it's like Magic the Gathering meets Skylanders or something crazy like that. It really is trying to sort of create a niche mechanic of its own in regards to TCGs. So when they say they're going to make something like nothing ever seen before, literally this is the case. People who say this is just Magic the Gathering virtually created, it's totally different from that. They're trying to create almost an entirely different nature of card game, which is really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm. No, so if we have a look at the actual Kickstarter page quickly as we go over, don't we? That's the team. Look at them. Interesting bunch of people. Why are they? That one's wearing a Santa hat. Anyway, forgetting about that, I digress. So a bit bizarre. We'll just nip down to, where should we go? So we've got the actual cards themselves. It's a magical and fantastic universe. They've created this sort of universe behind it. Anaris is a parallel universe where magic and fantasy come to life. once only known by those initiated by the waking dream, the Draconias, nowadays only remembered in our legends. Today, electronic eyes of our modern cameras enable us to recover the gift of seeing on us and the creatures that populated it again. There is no coincidence a new generation of Draconias is being recruited to battle against a great threat. So they've got this kind of underlying storyline of sort of fantasy, this fantasy universe, which is quite nice. And I like the idea that they've got these sort of creatures, these sort of they're not dragons as they said. They're more than that. They're quite interesting characters. Where Dracos are your allies. I mean, what they're saying is the first step in playing any confrontation is to choose your Draco among one.
There's a green one, a red one, and a blue one.
Yes, actually, pretty much. That's it. There's 6 of them, 6 species. You can buy.
The red one will never listen to you.
Again, one a red one, a green one, a blue one, a kind of grey one, and a brown one. Actually, kind of. But they've all got their own ability. So you've got these summoning cards who summon up your Draco. Draco sounds like Harry Potter. That was Harry Potter, wasn't it? That had Draco.
Yeah.
they've got these different ones. So we've got the Felis, which is like lightning. Felis never strikes in the same place twice. Bit of a joke there they put in there. Look, quite nice. Swift in tooth and claw. It sunders the sky, armours and your opponents. And they sort of give a little bit of detail of what the cards would have. So profile. Felis the Immortal is a guardian of the animal kingdom. Qualities of patience and tenacity. Talents, the gift of regeneration and special strength. Felis regenerates health points when their health drops below a certain threshold. So they kind of go through each of the heroes, if you like. You've got the Gorok as well, and the Melian, the Furkan, looks like a bat. I'm guessing it's a bat creature. And the Ogum, which is like a dragon. The Quartz, interesting. So they're your sort of your main heroes, and then to go along with that, you've got your spell cards, which is quite usual in a TCG. They have different effects and spells. You've got your interruption cards. Again, it's a sort of usual thing that you would see. Equipment cards. You can equip your heroes with effects which affect armor, weapons, and fury, which can bring in some tactics into the game. Fury cards and upgrade cards. So it kind of runs along the same. There's nothing sort of unusual there, is there? That's your usual sort of trading card kind of game. Go ahead, Sparky.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I just wanted to sort of bring back to a point Tom made when he said back in the days of the trading card games there were tournaments. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking with this going across networks, imagine esports of trading card games. How crazy would that be?
It would be amazing if they can start off somewhere like that. They have potentially got something very, very huge here, I think, in combining these two worlds. I mean, let's have a look at the stretch goals they've got then for their actual Kickstarter. What's their original goal is $30,000, isn't it?
Yes. Sorry.
Of which they've got 8,000 so far, with 19 days to go. So there's every chance that they could reach this, especially if sort of word gets around quickly enough. So with their stretch goals, they've got 30k. They will have story mode, full remake of the story mode, a huge adventure map, new characters and 10 duels. If they get to 60k, they're going to unlock new territories. The Somian Mount, the Lucid Pass and Scarlet Suitors, and another 20 duels. For 110k, they've got animated cutscenes, 6 awesome story cinematics just for you and our awesome backers. 170k, they'll introduce sound design, full game sonorization included, special sound effects for each Draco, special war cry and cry havoc sounds, and 7 additional tracks. 280k, this is pushing it a bit, but you never know, it's good enough to maybe get this.
You wait till you see the later ones.
Yeah. Game improvement, they'll have replay, 7 spectator mode, and cards and effects enhancement. So the fact they're talking about spectator mode makes me think they are thinking about thinking down the esports road. 400k bonus chapter, plus more backers, plus more cinematics, unlock new territory, City of Rahavian, unlock new arenas, and another 40 jewels. And if they reach the amazing goal of 600k, there'll be a new extension, Origins, 2 extension cards, 100 new cards, 6 new starter decks. So they are thinking quite big, aren't they, with a 600k goal?
I want to know if they hit 1 million, will they start breeding them in real life? That would be pretty cool.
Have your own egg.
Yes.
An egg you can nurture and it comes alive on your desktop. Yeah, there you go. You never know if there's...
That might be a bit too real. If there's a monster on my table and I'm like, nah.
Oh, it'll be like the Gorgonites, wouldn't it? Remember them?
Sorry, BRB AFK, guys. My little pet dragon just melted my middle mouse button.
Oh,
with its flame breath. Yeah.
So what are the rewards then for the Kickstarter? What are you going to get for your money if you back these guys? Well, you can start off with $5, which will get you some nice desktop wallpapers, wall of contributors, an exclusive Draycass Confronted HD desktop wallpaper pack. Woo! For $20, which is limited to only 500, so come and grab them quick if you want this. You can be an early adopter, wall of contributors, or you basically get what you get for $5, plus you get a starter of your choice, a starter pack of 41 cards, an exclusive customization for your Draco, an exclusive in-game title called the Member Founder. For $25, you get... again, what you get for $5 plus you get a start of your choice of 41 cards, an exclusive customization for your Draco, plus you get a title of Craftsman Founder, which is a slightly different for extra $5. For $35 you get all of the above, but the title this time is Great Founder. You get 9 cards booster and a digital soundtrack. For $60 you get all of the above plus 2 starters of your choice, 2 exclusive customizations for your Dracos, and 9 card boosters. How many do they have? Oh, quite a few. A lot. Actually, there's loads, isn't there? Absolutely loads.
Shall we jump up in hundreds?
Yes, I think that's a good idea. We'll go to 150. If you really like this game and you want to back it for $150. You get all of the stuff I said, plus some artwork, 5 starters of your choice, 5 exclusive customizations for your Draco, 5 9 card boosters, and an exclusive Kickstarter arena. That's quite awesome, actually. Your own exclusive arena. And if you go up to, let's jump up to $290, you also get a display case for your cards, an exclusive Draco's Kickstarter t-shirt, an exclusive in-game title of Master Founder, and oh my god, I guess if you've got a lot of money, you can get quite a lot out of this game. For $180, you get an approved webcam, and I know webcam. $1,000, you get a collector uncut sheet. So basically, a load of cards that are just on a big sheet of paper that aren't cut, which I guess if you're a collector, it'd be quite interesting.
Stick it up on your wall.
Yeah. $2,000, you get to design your unique Draco texture. Interesting. $5,000, I won't be paying $5,000 for this game. 3 days with the team to work on the game design of the story mode. Well, that's kind of cool. Only 3 of them available. So they've got some quite interesting rewards as well, and a lot of different tiers, which is quite nice. You can sort of pay as little or as much as you want, really, depending on how well off you are, I suppose. So, Tom, are you going to be backing this game?
I think so. I wish I had $5,000. Well, just very quickly, guys, if you had to decide what the story was very quickly in like a sentence or two, what would it be?
Ooh, man, how could you fit that into a story? I'm going to say...
Not necessarily... Go on, sorry.
I'm going to say Professor Oak has gone on a murderous rampage and you must utilize all of the monsters to hunt him down and kill him.
Oh.
That looks good.
I don't know if I can top that. I was just kind of thinking Harry Potter.
Slytherin.
Ready. Gryffindor. Ready.
I'll pay for that, to be honest. Well, what about you, Tom? What sort of story would you like to see in it? If you pay the $5,000.
I think because it's more likely this will happen, Garrosh turns up and you have to go fight Garrosh. That's going to come out quicker than Warlords. No, I'd probably do something very I think Sparky's got the best one. Professor Oak goes on a rampage, and mine was going to be collect all the badges. But at least we've got the same sort of vibe here. This is epic Pokemon.
It is epic Pokemon, isn't it? It's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Epic Pokemon and Hearthstone on LSD.
LSD.
Wasn't it? And this is going to start a. I've just gone onto their website and I think it's going to start a YouTube video. No, it's all right. There's no sound on it. It's fine. I was just going to quickly nip over to their website before we close off, so that if people want to go and back these guys, you can go onto their website, which is www.draycass.com, which is DRAKERZ.com, and Kickstarter is, if you search for Draycass, DRAKERZ, then it should come up. You should be able to find them. We'll put a link in the show notes as well for anybody that wants to go and have a look at it. It is well worth looking at. I think it's very, very promising, and I think if it gets backed, it's got a potential to change definitely trading card games and the way we play it, and esports, as you said, Sparky. It's nice to see these developers coming up with. We said a couple of episodes ago how games at the moment have kind of got a bit boring, haven't they? They're not coming up with anything new.
Yeah, it's a bit lackluster.
Yeah. So it's nice to see them coming up with something different, something that's going to maybe change the gaming community, if you like. So, has anybody else got anything to add about that?
Just one question. The only thing I've got to say is, obviously it markets itself as a trading card game. With Sparky's point that obviously you can play this sort of across the internet with people in North America and all across the world. How much trading do you think is actually going to be going on?
That's interesting. Do you think you'll be able to trade?
I imagine you've got events, but the cards themselves, like unless there's some sort of forum where you go, I'll send you mine and I hope you send yours at the same time, and that's a trade. But apart from the sort of official events, there's not a real trading system necessarily. Unless I don't know how.
Unless it's digitally done, like they're not necessarily trading the physical cards, but maybe. So, say you play a card and your monster appears out of that card, and then it fights in the arena. If you traded that card away, maybe when you chuck that card down now, it's invalid and nothing happens. You can't bring out a monster with that card. It's become just a piece of paper, maybe. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Maybe.
Because you traded it away to someone else.
It's just interesting, but they need the card as well to use it.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because they say their caption is the first trading card game in augmented reality, and it just makes me wonder whether they've created a game which is further along than they've even realised. We use the term TCG, but it's gone beyond that, and that's kind of an interesting notion, really.
Yeah.
It's too advanced for itself.
Maybe it's better described as a battle card game. BCG.
Battle card game.
Battle cards.
So that was the Kickstarter for Draycass, which is interesting. I think it's Draycass. Is that how they said it? I think that's how they said it. So we're going to move on now to our next segment, and I have a drop. Sparky hasn't got to do it because I actually have one for this.
Whew.
Here we go.
Epic Geeks presents It's Time to Play.
So we've got the technical issues out of the way. Hopefully, we'll probably lose it again in a minute, but we're back up on Twitch momentarily. Now we had two games to talk about in this segment. One of them was Wildstar, which we've already done, so we'll forget about that bit now. And we'll just go on to our next game, which is another game which is coming out in a couple of days. And Tom and I have played this. I don't know if you have, had a chance to have a game of this anywhere, Sparky. But Murdered Soul Suspect, which is coming out on the 6th of June for the PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360 and Xbox One, by publishers Square Enix. And I shall play Le Trailer.
Peggy 18.
Most people think that death is the end. But for me, it was only the beginning. I'd have thought when you get to the other side, you'd finally be given all the answers. But hunting my killer, all I'm finding are more questions. You imagine when you're dead, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. But here, there are things far worse than death. My killer didn't bring a weapon, so he used mine?
Hey, come back!
Bam. 7 to the chest. Point blank.
My killer came here for a reason.
Yeah, I saw him. That man in the hood.
There was a witness.
So hopefully you guys saw that, because that will mean that the stream's still going. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Phew. It's still there. So Murder
just
Soul,
disappeared.
Murder Soul Suspect. Tom and I managed to have a play of this at Res, and I think you played it before as well, didn't you? At the other thing you went to.
Technically, I haven't played it yet, 'cause I didn't play it at the developers at the BAFTA Game Awards, and when we were at EGX, I couldn't because of that guy who played on it for 2 hours straight, and he wouldn't get out of the chair. So I watched you play it.
You did watch me.
Which I count. I watched you play it for half an hour, which was thoroughly entertaining.
You did take photos as well.
We did. Of Wednesday Addams.
Wednesday Addams. It's just what she was. Yeah, basically I was helping this little girl. I didn't really understand what I was doing. But as a concept of a game, I know it's had some sort of up and down reviews, good reviews, bad reviews. I kind of quite enjoyed the however long I was playing for. I quite like the kind of detective-y type games. You've got to go around and find out what's been happening. It might have been a little bit slow, but then having only played the beginning, I don't really know whether it's going to change. The pace is going to change as we sort of get down later on down the road. Sparky, is this a game that you are likely to purchase?
I would, for games like this, where I imagine, like I said, I haven't played it, I'd imagine it's mostly story-based. Obviously, you're investigating your death and coming across clues, and so it's very much exploring a narrative. I would have to wait for a number of reviews, and if those reviews say that the story is really strong, really gripping, and ends well, then absolutely I purchase that, because I'm down for all sorts of story games. I love exploring fantasy and all sci-fi narratives, and I hope, it may seem strange for a computer game, but I hope that there's not too much combat in a game like this. I hope it's mostly exploration.
From what I played, again, as I say, it was only a trial at a convention, so I haven't played it massively. But for the few sort of 20 minutes or whatever I was playing it for, it did seem to be mainly exploration based. You're dead, obviously, so there's not a lot you can do really when you're dead. But you can sort of go into people's minds and sort of look for, like you said, you're looking for clues, so analyse things and listening to conversations that you wouldn't otherwise be allowed to listen to if you were alive. So it is definitely more along the kind of detective, kind of exploration kind of genre, as opposed to the kind of combat kind of ideas. I mean, how much more do you know about it, Tom, other than sort of what we've seen at the conventions and things?
Really, a lot of my knowledge was when I sat down at the BAFTA to sort of get insight event, and I was sitting down. I'm pretty sure it was with Matthew Bruner, who is the chief creative officer of Airtight Games, and I can't remember who else was there, which is really bad. But in there, we were talking a lot about narrative. Their little sort of segment, as it were, they dedicated it to the idea of narrative in games. And Sparky, you'll be glad to know that the function of the game is almost purely on exploration. It's not like it's not going to suddenly turn into Red Dead, where it's like a quick time shooting event or something like that. It's a game that pushes you to explore and in particular, they talked very much about how even things like the tone, the walking speeds, even the music, the backing sound, things like that, alter to try and psychologically push you to try and explore your surroundings. So there might be, a scene where you're chasing someone through a building, and then it will suddenly shift in tone to try and get you to calm down, because they talked about how narratives can build you up into this state where you just want to pull out a gun and go on a rampage, but they needed to calm you down to think, actually, no, I really need to think about what's going on, and the character will start saying things to try and think, maybe I should look over here and over here. So narrative-wise, it's hugely involved there. And really, I can't say more than that. It's done incredibly well, awards-wise. It's won the official Best Buy magazine, the E3 2013 MVG Most Valuable Game. It won the E3 2013 MVG Most Valuable Game, the Most Valuable Game Awards, the We Love It Award, the Best Game You Heard Nothing About Awards, the best Sleeper of E3, and the top 10 games of E3 placed at number 10. So it's done very well so far, considering it's not it's not quite out yet, and really I think it's trying to put itself as a incredibly narrative game. It's trying to really set itself apart, almost on the extreme. So I think it will please a lot of people in a day and age where you can pick up shooter games 10 a penny.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games. I think it's not going to do amazing. It's not going to be one of the best games out there, but it's going to do well. It's across all platforms. Enough people are going to buy it that it's going to be a successful game, but it's probably not going to be the best-selling game of the year, I suggest, but purely because of the sort of game it is. People generally like FPSs and things like that. It's not the sort of game that's going to outsell Titanfall, for example. But I think it will do well enough to keep the publishers happy. So we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Maybe
an equivalent. It's almost like in gaming equivalent. I consider it just under the most recent Tomb Raider. I think that's perhaps the amount of impact it's going to have. Shy of that, obviously, there's a lot of gender hype and things like that, which are incredibly important around Tomb Raider. But this, I think, like you say, is going to do incredibly well. But yeah, it's not going to go and make you suddenly go out and buy a new gen console, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's it, I suppose. Been talking for long enough. There was we would normally have the what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, but there wasn't really anything that exciting other than Wildstar and Murdered Soul Suspects. We've already spoken about them, so that's kind of it. And we haven't got a parody this week because no one got back to me about whether we could play them, and I don't like playing people's songs if they don't give us permission to play them. So we haven't got them this week. We'll say we could make our own parody up. We might scare people, so we won't do that. So we're going to go
Pokemon Masters.
We're going to go into the outro. I'm going to have to play a little bit of music for that though, so bear with me. That is our little outro music that brings the end of the podcast. This is the end of episode number 2.
Calms us down.
Like this if you cry every time.
So you've been listening to Epic Geeks. Thank you very much for listening. This is probably a good opportunity to thank the creators of our music and our intro and everything else. So thank you very much for Techno Centurion, who made the music that you're listening to now. And the intro at the beginning, apart from the video that was done by our very own Tom, thank you Tom, The music on our intro was done by Edward Bryant. He can be found on Twitter at Andran, which is ANDORAN, and a little underscore there as well. And the voiceover, of course, was done by the wonderful Coltrane. He can be found either at the Convert to Raid podcast or on Twitter at _Coltrane. So that is it for the Epic Geeks podcast edition. Send any questions or points of interest that you want to send in to us to our website, which is www.epicgeeks.co.uk, or by our email address, which is epicgeekspodcast@gmail.com. Sparky, you are now on Twitter, I understand. You weren't last time we spoke to you.
I am. I've joined the masses.
Tell everybody about your Twitter account so they can go follow you.
You can find me on Le Twitter at Epic Dark Sparky, all one word.
Lovely. I'm loving the French theme this week. We had the French Kickstarter and I did my little...
Oh, it is beautiful.
Tom, where can we find you?
You can find me at the not necessarily so exciting or French at TC McIlroy.
And you can find me...
I can't add...
Sorry, go on. What are you going to fish?
I was going to say, I can't turn an Irish surname into a French accent. It's not going to do it.
Doesn't work, does it? Not really. You can find me at Draycass, and you can follow the Epic Geeks Twitter, which is epic_geeks. Thank you very much for watching, listening. I've got no idea if the stream's even working now, but it doesn't matter. We'll still have a podcast, so it'll be fine. This is Draycass signing out. Smiley face with a wink. Bye!